Hi, welcome back to another video. I don't know why I'm wearing sunglasses, just thought it would be a cool introduction. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? In this video, we will be talking about a lot of Magic the Gathering cards. To be exact, 13 colorless and multicolored. We have 3 colorless and 5. Wait, did I say 13? I meant 8. We have 3 colorless and 5 multicolored. We are going in alphabetical order, and these are from Phyrexia. All will be one. Bum, 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 bum. Our first card is a 4-colored commander. Nice. And by the way, these are not all commanders. These are just, in my opinion, the best cards. Our first one is Atraxa, Grand Unifier, I believe. 3, green, white, blue, black. So every color but red. And then 3 generic mana. So that's 7 mana for a 7/7 legendary creature, Phyrexian Angel, with flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink. 4 keywords. When Atraxa Grand Unifier enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put a card... For each card type, you may put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Artifact, battle creature, enchantment, instant, land, creature, and sorcery are card types. So that's 7 card types. So essentially, if you hit the jackpot, you can draw 7 cards. 7. Now, how can you make sure that you can draw all 7 of these cards? There are not many ways to manipulate the top 7 cards of your library, but there are ways to manipulate the top 3 or the top 2. Like, the top 2 cards you can use in green. You have, what's it called? It's called, it's like the one where you look at the top 3 cards and you can choose 1 to put in your hand, and if you want to put the other 2, you have to pay life. I don't remember what it is, but it's pretty cool. So that's how you manipulate the top 2. And then since it's dividing top, you can manipulate the top 3 by just looking at them and then choosing, putting them back in a random order. So yeah, just by tapping. So there are chances that to make you look at the top 3. Not really. I don't. As of my knowledge, no card in recent Magic history can make you look at the top 3 or more cards. Actually, 4 or more, because I know you can look at 3. I don't think 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or any of those. Yeah. But it's just a really cool way to draw a bunch of cards. And who doesn't like a vigilance, flying, death touch, and lifelink creature? That's a very scary threat on the battlefield. You get hit 3 times by this and you're dead. It also has lifelink, so you can gain a bunch of life from it. But it's just a really good way to draw a bunch of cards for 7 mana. 7 mana, draw 7, hit someone for 7, gain 7. I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. Like, line, bargain thing. I don't know. It's pretty good. Next card is a Simic colored. I only know the 2 colored, or most of them. I know Dimir, there's Simic, there's Boros, there's... what is it called? That's 3. I don't know what black-white is. I don't know what white green or white red is. I don't know a lot of them now I think about it. Alright, but I know this one. So yeah. Trying to think. I don't know him. That's really annoying. Alright. This guy is Izuri, Stalker of Spheres. 2 green and a blue, Simic. For a 3/3 legendary creature, Phyrexian Elf Warrior. When Izuri, Stalker of Spheres, enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 mana. If you do, proliferate twice. Whenever you proliferate, draw a card. And then it of course has flavor text. It's, my old friends. Have you decided at last to stop clinging to the past and join me in the grand pursuit of perfection? So let's see. Azuri, Stalker of Spheres. By the way, he also has whenever you proliferate, draw a card. So in my opinion, 7 mana for a 3/3 that says proliferate twice, draw 2 cards. That's not great rates, but the thing is, if you are building a deck around this guy, you are probably putting in a bunch of proliferating things. And I know there have been things throughout Magic history, because I've got a Planeswalker deck, his name's Jace, and all he does is proliferate, basically. That's before I discovered Commander, and I love Commander. But yeah, and that's just a very good way to draw a bunch of cards and proliferate. Normally what happens is when you have a deck that's built on gas, you run and you run and you run and you run, but then you run out of gas. But with this guy, you proliferate and you draw a card. So let's say a card says, you have 3 cards in your hand, alright? One of them is a land that you can play next turn. One of them is a creature, and one of them is a counterspell, okay? You got a creature, right? And that creature says, somewhere on it, proliferate like 3 times, alright? Let's say that. You pay the mana cost, and you play them, and then you proliferate 3 times, and you draw 3 cards. That's 3 more chances to get another thing that has proliferating thing on it. Alright, so if you just build this deck with really big proliferating stuff, then you almost never run out of cards in hand. Because normally that's what's happening. That's why people spend a bunch of money on like Rhystic Study and cards that basically do the exact same thing as Rhystic Study. And yeah. So yeah, Izuri, Stalker of Spheres. He's a very good, I'm assuming it's a he. It's a very good, I'm just going to say it. It is a very good card that you can use to proliferate, proliferate, and proliferate. And of course, Phyrexia will be one. Brought way too much proliferating stuff. Oh yeah. Feel like Kool-Aid, man. Alright, our next card is Glissa, Sunslayer. 1 black and a green for a 3/3 legendary creature, Phyrexian Zombie Elf. That's something I've never seen before. Phyrexian and a zombie. Ugh. First strike and death touch. Whenever Glissa, Sunslayer deals combat damage to a player, you choose 1. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Destroy target enchantment or remove up to 3 counters from target permanents. The reason I chose this card to be good is because 1, it's got a bunch of abilities. Normally only has 2 abilities or something like that. But also, it has card draw, which as I talked about with Azuri is very good. But it also has remove up to 3 counters from target permanents. And that can quite literally save you from death if you just got attacked by, if you're going up against poison or infect. Like, let's say you've got a friend who all he or she does is play infect, 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 and poison, 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 right? Then you can this doesn't even have to be a commander. You can throw her into your deck, and you immediately are basically saved if you draw this card. Because all it has to do is deal combat damage, and you basically remove 3 counters from yourself, because you're a permanent. Last time I checked. And then you can, and it's really good for you, because then you can basically save yourself from death, as I said like 3 times. So, yes. Good card. The next card is, we have 2 more multicolored, then we have 3 colorless. And one of them is a sword. A very good sword, in my opinion. Our next guy is a Planeswalker, Luca, Bound to Ruin. 2, red. And then it has hybrid Phyrexian red or hybrid Phyrexian green. So it's like split, and it's red and green. And then it's green. And then it says Legendary Planeswalker Luca. It comes in with 5 loyalty counters. But it has completed. The Phyrexian red / Phyrexian green can be paid with red and green or 2 life. If life, I'm assuming it's life. I'm assuming it's red or green, not red and green. So red or green or 2 life. If life was paid, this Planeswalker enters the battlefield with 2 fewer loyalty counters. That may not, you may say, I'll do that. But this guy can ult immediately and survive, which I just talked about 2 hours ago. For me, it was 2 hours ago. For you, it was probably maybe a few days ago. About how there was a Planeswalker where you could, it was like, it came in with 7 loyalty counters, and you could ult it. Here, I'll go find it. But it would immediately die. I don't honestly know what the name was of the card. I did, this would make it a whole lot easier. Yeah, I don't know what the card was called. Sadly. Well, I'm sure I'll think of it at some point. Well, it was a Planeswalker that you could immediately ult with. Oh wait, I found it. It's Nissa. It was Nissa, Ascendant Alchemist, Animist, my mistake. It came in with 7 loyalty, and their ult was -7, but it had 2 Phyrexian green, so you could pay either 2 life or 2 green. So, yes. And it also has +1, add red, green, spend this mana only to cast creature spells or activate abilities of creatures. -1, create a 3/3 Phyrexian board creature token with Toxic 1. -4, Luca deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of targets, creatures, and or planeswalkers. I'm sorry, any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control as you activate this ability. As you activate this ability. That's kind of different. Now it says as you activate this ability. So you could immediately ult it, and let's say best case scenario, you had an Eldrazi, which I think is like the most powerful card in Magic ever. And it was like 10 mana, alright? Like, I mean, it was like a 10/10, alright? Or like anything that has like ginormous stuff like that. Let's say it was a 10/10, alright? Then you deal 10 damage as you choose among target creatures or planeswalkers. But it can't be players, so you can't instantly kill someone, which is not horrible, but it's not great at the same time. But yeah, pretty powerful. And then the +1 just gives you extra mana, which is helpful because typically you want to have extra mana when you're doing stuff like this because you probably want to play bigger creatures earlier. It's like a ramp, only for 1 turn. And then the -1, you create a 3/3 Phyrexian beast creature token with Toxic 1. I said this I said this with the last Planeswalker. I feel like every card in Magic's history that is a Planeswalker is like +1 is like some form of protection, and then the -3 is some form of like destroy something, and the -7 is get stuff really big to win game. Like -7 win game. I mean, big minus, ultimate win game. Minus but not win game, destroy something, and then plus is like make blocker or whatever. But I feel like that's the opposite with the Luca Bound to Ruin. Like this guy is ramp, then he's block, and then it's destroy. So it's like a bit mixed up. But, you know, not my choice for designing cards. So, yeah. I like this card because of how amazing it looks like. It's, Luca has a little, like, horn back thingy coming out of his back. And it, like, goes up into the red mana. It looks cool. It's, like, coming out. It's going... And I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. So, yeah. Luca. Next card is Malakator, Purity Overseer. Bam, 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 bam. He is 1 white and a blue for a 1/1 legendary creature, Phyrexian Elephant Wizard. When Malakator, Purity Overseer enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem artifact creature token. At the beginning of your end step, if 3 or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control this turn, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem artifact creature token. I think this the strategy of this deck is really simple. Play artifacts, and there are very big ones and powerful ones in white and blue. Do you want an example? Go look at the Brothers' War. I'll give you a hint. Urza was just printed in that. And his colors are white, blue, and black, I believe. But white and blue are his main colors, and like all he does is play artifacts like that. It literally says it on the deck. Put them in this deck. Put every single card that could deal with artifacts in this deck that is in this colors. Pretty cool. And he creates a ton of bodies, which is very helpful. So I think the deck is seriously easy. It's just make a ton of bodies and then destroy opponents. Pretty simple, if you ask me. And I just like the fact that it's a Phyrexian Elephant Wizard. I wonder if the wizards up there, like not the wizards here, but like Wizards of the Coast is thinking, how many creature types can we put on a card until we can't? Like I think the record is like 3, maybe 4. Might be a 4th out there somewhere. Because like Phyrexian Elephant Wizard, like maybe there'll be like Phyrexian Elephant Wizard, and then like Rogue or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, pretty cool. This next card is very much like another staff. We're moving on to colorless. Our next card is extremely like the staff of something. Anyway, this card is called Staff of Completion. 3 generic mana for an artifact, a mythic artifact. Now, it doesn't say mythic artifact, but it's like a mythic card. And then it says tap, pay 1 life, destroy target permanent you own. Tap, pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. Tap, pay 3 life, proliferate. Tap 4 life, draw the card. 5, untap, Staff of Completion. I don't remember what staff it's like, but yeah. It's very powerful, but you all have to pay life for it. I have a feeling if you didn't have to pay life, there would be ways that you could just go off and win the game, like right away. But yeah, like you have to pay life, so you can't draw infinite cards because you would have to lose 4 life each time. It's interesting how it's like pay 1 life, pay 2 life, pay 3 life, pay 4 life, and then pay 5 mana. I just like how it's very makes me happy. The tap, pay 1 life, destroy target permanent you own. It's a bit weird, but I guess you could like gain control of creatures and then kill them. Sort of. And then the pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. I don't know if that's useful, but like really powerful, but I guess it's like you could use it, I guess. But yeah. And then the pay 3 life and proliferate is obviously good because proliferating is very, 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 very powerful. Because you can proliferate, sometimes kills people. And pay 4 life to draw a card is once again good, but there are better ways to do that, and pay 4 life to draw 1 card is not that good. So, yeah, but I just like how it looks because Staff of Completion looks amazing with its skull thing and like a bunch of red other stuff coming out of it. And of course, 5 untapped Staff of Completion. So, yeah, pretty powerful. Alright, are you ready, guys? We are moving on from Staff of Completion to the powerful sword. A very cool sword that, in my opinion, has a very, very good name. And I like the name a lot. Because the name, it suits it. I just really like it, alright, guys? There's no other way to describe it except the fact that I really like it. Sword of Forge and Frontier. Yeah. 3 generic mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has +2/+2 and has protection from red and from green. Whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. You may play an additional land this turn. And then equip for 2. Something I like about the swords is any sword can pretty much go in any deck as long as you can play mana. And as of my knowledge, you need to play mana to play the game. And Swords of Frontier is very powerful, not in that way, but in the fact that it gets, like, all the swords say it gets +2/+2 and protection from 2 colors. All right. For Forge and Frontier, it gets from red and green. And then it says, and almost all the swords say, when equipped creature deals combat damage to a player or just deals combat damage, do X. And in this example, it says, when the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. You may pay an additional land this turn. So there are ways, as I said, to look at the top of your library. Man, I can't remember it. It's a green card. It's like, ooh, this is gonna drive me crazy. But of course, as I said before, this sword, where is it? The sword of Forge and Frontier is powerful. I don't remember what the card is called. It's like, it's a green card. It's like, I don't remember what it is. It's gonna drive me crazy from that one. Anyway, but of course you can use Sensei's Divining Top to look at the top 3 cards of your library, so you can manipulate what's on the top of your library to see what you get, to see what you can play. So yeah, and then of course you can play an extra land each turn, basically, which is extremely powerful. Like the Sword of Fire and Ice does the same thing. I don't know why I just said that, but like what I meant was like the Sword and Fire and Ice does the same thing as like it's +2/+2, and I think pro red and blue, I believe. So yeah, but something that is you need to be careful about the swords is that you can't equip the Sword of Forge and Frontier to a red or green creature because it has protection from red and green. Just like the Sword of Fire and Ice, you can't equip to a blue or red card. Keep that in mind. Don't forget it. I almost forgot one time. But I just like how there's a new sword because swords are cool, and this one looks amazing. Yeah, and our last card is kind of like a group hug kind of deck. I mean, a group hug card. What I mean by that is it says Zenith Chronicle, and it's just 2 generic mana for a 3/1 artifact creature Phyrexian construct. Whenever a player casts their first multicolored spell each turn, each other player draws a card. So whenever they cast a multicolored spell, that is literally any deck that's not monocolored. Whenever they cast their spell, everybody draws a card. Who doesn't love that? It's like the best card ever known to man, basically. So yeah, and then I feel like I need to read the flavor text. Did I read the flavor text on the other cards? Yeah, I read the flavor text on Azuri. There was none on Glissa or Traxa. There's none on Luca, Malakator, Staff of Completion, or Sword of Forge and Frontier. Sword of Forge and Frontier. But there is some on Zeeth Chronicoler. It watches through the never-ending day, motionless save for the unsettling, twitching dance it performs as each sun reaches its apex. And it's a Phyrexian construct. It's a pretty good group huggy deck. Yeah. I think that's it already. Wow. That was a fast video, guys. That was like under 30 minutes. Normally I got like above 30 minutes. Speaking of time, speaking of money, well, not money. Speaking of time though, if you guys are bored of watching like the same me drown on for like 30 minutes every day, why not listen to me for 10 minutes every single day? And what I mean by that, hold up, I gotta cross this up off my list. Colors and multicolored. So that means I'm 1, 2, and 3 done. I will have a new podcast coming out. It will be called Cardboard Commanders. It will be uploaded to the channel you are watching currently. And every day, I will talk about a commander from Magic the Gathering's, like, I will start at the beginning. So, like, the very first commander that was released this year, I don't know her name or his name, but I know it was in white, and I know it was in All Will Be One. And I will go through alphabetical, and I will spend 10 minutes, take 10 minutes out of my day, and talk about them to you guys. Also, please go join my Discord. It's in the description. If you have any ideas for anything you want to hear about, put it in the comments, like, about Magic the Gathering. Because everything you need about Magic the Gathering is on this podcast, and anything you don't want to hear about this anything you want to hear about Magic the Gathering is on this podcast, and anything you think you don't have that's on this podcast that you think we should add to this podcast, please put in the description. I mean, not in the description, the comments, and I will look. Also, go follow me on Twitter. We are, for the Magic Zone, it's at Magic Zone MTG. For my profile, it's at Zach MTG EDH. Go look in the description to make sure. If I'm wrong, you can say you were wrong and laugh at me and stuff. If I was right, you can say you were right, good job, or don't say anything. I don't care. Look, I'm like Iron Man. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in our next video about a new format coming to Magic the Gathering very soon. Very much like Commander. Goodbye.